everybody. Welcome back to your dose of reality here on KVOI AM1030. It is good to have you here. A bonny Saturday afternoon to one and all. What a gorgeous Tucson afternoon we have here today. I guess it's going to top out right around 78, but look out, here comes the heat back tomorrow. 91 degrees for Sunday. Before I get the program queued up and we start with our guests, we've got a couple in studio and a couple that are on the phone zone here. I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who are involved in the operation right now that's undergoing in Syria. And much success to them in their mission, and congratulations on accomplishing the mission, which was the elimination of Bashar Assad's chemical munitions capability. That was quite an operation, and as Mad Dog Mattis said it, and the president retweeted this morning, we have accomplished the objectives. Nicely done, everybody. Our first guest is going to be Keith. And Keith is the manager out at Sprouts in Green Valley, which just opened up. Then we're going to talk with a very successful football coach out at Warren Grove High School near my home. His name is Corey Noble, and Corey is going to tell us a little bit about all the good news that's happening out there south of Tucson. Then we're going to talk with Andrea Vaitia. She has a wonderful speech she's going to share with us that she delivered at the Rotary Club of Tucson earlier this week. It's about bullying and combating bullying and how important that is in today's educational environment, whether it's primary, secondary, or post-secondary education. And then our last guest is the one that we missed last week. He is currently working on Hollywood Catering, and he is the author of Las Vegas's Scammers, Schemers, and Dreamers. He was also my first guest on the first incarnation of Your Dose of Reality a couple years back. He is the only repeat guest on this program, and we are fortunate to have Frank Garibaldi coming back with us on the fourth segment. So I'm going to go ahead and get started right now, and we're going to welcome in Keith. Keith, I know you've been in the phone zone for a little while. How's the weather down there in Sahuarita, Green Valley?
I think we have the wrong person. This is Keith Manning from Keith Joshua Vineyards, actually.
Oh, my goodness, Keith. We got the wrong guy. That's okay. Welcome aboard. We talked about having you back on the program. I'm glad you're on the program because that's good. Yeah. We're going to catch up with the Sprouts. We're going to catch up with the Sprouts gentleman very shortly anyways. He'll be on next week, and I'll make it up to him. Welcome aboard. I was just out at the vineyard a little while back. Is the Wallaby still out there?
Oh, yeah, she lives there.
Oh, my goodness. You were getting ready to take a little vacation time. Obviously, you're back at the vineyard, and it's an important time right now. I know the grapevines are just throwing off their first set of greenery here. What's going on right now?
We just started budding out last week, and we just barely escaped frost this last night. So fingers crossed, that'll be the last frost of the evening. But actually, I am out of town. We're at the Safford Wine Art and History Festival in Safford all weekend.
Oh, does that sound like fun?
Yeah.
We got out this morning, and the car I have a Volkswagen, and it blinks 39 degrees. I don't know why the Germans set it at 39 degrees. You're right, it was chilly last night. We
hit 30 at the Sonoyta Vineyard and 35 at the Wilcox Vineyard, but thankfully it was just at ground level, so it doesn't look like we sustained any damage. So.
Oh, good. Right on. The last time I was out at your facility and had the pleasure of meeting you and sitting down at the vineyard, you had a wonderful couple of new varietals. I believe that we were doing some tasting on. The one that I want to just compliment you on is the Sweet Red. I had half a bottle of that, and then I had to put the cork on and drive back to Tucson. I wish I could have stayed past sunset. Anything new, anything that you're excited about this year?
Well, my two new releases that we just released a couple weeks ago, we have a new vintage of our Cabernet Sauvignon on the list, 2.5 years in Hungarian oak, kind of a full-bodied, very rich, jammy red. And then we also released our Petit Verdot, which is 2.5 years in French oak, which is kind of a full-bodied, slightly peppery, a little bit herbal, really nice, couple of full-bodied reds we just released. And we'll be getting ready to release some more whites here pretty soon, getting ready for the summer coming back since the heat's on.
Oh, that's exciting. Yes, it is, and it came early this year. Does that?
And fast.
Do you anticipate and watch for those kinds of events? They say climate is weather long term. You know, you get you get the weather that you expect, but that the climate is something that changes much more subtly. You've probably noticed that it's been hot several years in a row.
Oh, yeah. Last year was our hottest year on record. And this year it doesn't look like it's going to be too much different. But yeah, we definitely try and keep track. We have a weather station at the vineyards. And it's not so much that we're seeing a huge major climate shift as much as just shift in the extremes. Mm-hmm. We're seeing, more hail, more colder temperatures, more hotter temperatures. So not like a consistent change, but just more of it.
It's interesting. I had a feeling that it must affect a couple of things, because the combination, as I understand it, and what makes Keith Joshua Vineyards so successful, not only the taste of the wine that you produce, but it's an experience out there. I've noticed as you drive down Highway 83 and get into the Sonoyta, Patagonia, Elgin area, that you notice that the road is even affected by those brutally hot, sunshiny days. When you're out there working and when you've got the people out there collecting and doing the harvesting and all of the rest of the prep that you do, are those folks primed and ready, or do you have to do anything special to help them to deal with the southern Arizona heat and sun?
No, not really. I mean, usually by the time we hit harvest, it's cooled down quite a bit, and we're already kind of approaching fall, because we're 5,000 feet up down there, so we're quite a bit cooler. It's usually hot down where we're at, more May and June, and then by September, October, when we're harvesting, we're back down in the 70s. Mainly, we just make sure that everybody has a lot of water, and you got to stay hydrated. And then generally, when we're doing our work in the vineyard, it's, me and my dad and maybe a couple of my friends and neighbors. But, everybody that we work with, they live next to us. They're pretty familiar with the whole process, and we don't really, have to worry about it. It's the same people helping us all the time.
Got it. How did you first get involved with, and we talked about it, I believe, a couple of years ago, the last time I had the pleasure of having you on the program, how did you first fall in love with and get acquainted with the art of producing wine?
Actually, I got a job in a wine shop when I was 15 years old with a very knowledgeable boss who was a great mentor, and started getting into producing beer and wine and other products at the house. I ended up getting 2 degrees in viticulturology over in Australia, studying at UC Davis for a while, and then working in the Australian and New Zealand industries off and on, and just sort of went from a high school job to a full-time gig over the years.
That is really awesome. You didn't happen to run into Russell Crowe or any of the Nicole Kidman or the famous Aussies or New Zealanders while you were there, did you?
Nah, just some of the rugby guys.
Did they leave you in one piece? I'm assuming you played.
Yeah. No, I stayed away. those guys, they're a lot bigger up close.
And they take it seriously, too. I saw the locals once. I don't know if it's Auckland or Wellington or if it's the north or the south, but I saw the locals, the guys who get the tattoos and stick their tongues out and do the arm thing.
The Maoris, they do the haka.
Oh, man, dude, that is some serious stuff. Back to what you do and what makes Keith Joshua Vineyards rock. It's a feeling. It's when you walk in, you just feel at home. The tastings are fantastic. But if there's anything that you could shout out, what would you say to somebody who's either been around, maybe visited a couple of the vineyards on the wine trail here in southern Arizona, but never has been over by you guys?
Well, I think, if they've never been to Sonoyta, it's beautiful. 5,000 feet up, rolling grasslands. We average in the 80s through the summer. But, we're still down to earth. We still have our attachment. You come down, generally the people helping you behind the barn are the same people growing the grapes, the same people making the wine. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to come down and meet the producers, meet the growers. It's not, a lot of people think wine tasting has to be pretentious. People make it pretentious, not the wine. And so you come down, meet the family, and you come down, taste in our house and winery. It's a beautiful getaway from the city. Great way to spend the day or the weekend. We have a lot of nice B&Bs down there. And if you've never come down, the whole valley's going to be turning green here pretty soon, and it's just a gorgeous area, unlike anywhere else in the
And I got to take my hat off to you. So many times you've pulled my chestnuts out of the fire when I'm doing fundraisers or need a gift, and you've given away so many tastings, and I've had so many people come back and tell me what a great experience they had visiting.
Okay.
Yeah, really. Shout out to you, and hats off and major props to you. One question that I have as we tick down here and get under a minute and 20 seconds, what do you have planned for next year? I know you are always thinking ahead.
Oh, for next year, it's just always, we have, next weekend we have our big chili cook-off and cooking competition. We have the Southwest Regional Professional Chili Cook-Off Championship coming up next weekend at the Vineyard in Sonoyta.
Nice.
Plus a winemaker kind of faux chopped competition we threw together. We'll be at the Wilcox Wine Festival coming up next month. And then, we have events and things all year round, all different places at the winery and around the state. If you go to our website, KeithJoshuaVineyards.com, we got information on where we're at every weekend, all the special events going on. And it's just a great way to relax, enjoy some local products, some local wine, and get out of the city for a little bit.
Amen. I can't thank you enough for being on today, Keith, and I wish all the best to you and safe travels, and be safe up there.
Oh, thanks, Tim. If anybody wants to come down, I'll be in Sanford on the weekend, and I'll talk to you soon, Tim.
Sounds good.
Back on the show.
Yeah, have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. That is Keith from Keith Joshua Vineyards down Highway 83 on the Great Wine Trail here in South Arizona. Go visit them. They're fantastic. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Corey Noble, head coach of the Warren Grove High School football team. Keep it here on your Dose of Reality.
Intelligent weekend talk that's live and local. Only on AM1030 KVOI, The Voice. Call in now, 790-2040. That's 790-2040.
This is Janet again. I'm out here having a great time at Central Arizona Block Company Demo and Outdoor Living Fair. If you are a hands-on person and like to do it yourself, or if you are wanting to become a hands-on do-it-yourselfer, come out today to 6030 South Mann Avenue. They are doing live demonstrations of bricklaying, retaining walls, and laying block walls. The contractors are here to teach you. Ask the professionals here at Central Arizona Block Company. They have a huge variety of blocks, brick pavers, specialty blocks, slump block, and glass block. I still think the gecko pavers are my favorite, but the basket weave pavers look pretty too, and the diamond shapes are nice. The Aztec pavers are really interesting too. The pavers come in several different sizes and patterns and colors. Come out and pick your favorite. Don't forget about the raffle they're having. The food is great. Come out and see me at Central Arizona Block Company at 6030 South Mann Avenue. Hope to see you soon. I'll be here until 2.
Hey, honey, we owe the state $800 in taxes this year. Not awesome. We can designate all of it to go to my favorite nonprofit, Impact of Southern Arizona.
Doesn't Impact help struggling families get back on their feet?
Yes, and bridges the gap when emergency assistance is needed.
What's the Impact website to donate?
ImpactSOAZ.org.
And it's not too late to designate our 2017 tax credits?
Nope, April 17th.
ImpactSOAZ.org.
Dennis Prager. The indoctrination is actually more severe in high schools than colleges. So whatever you worry about universities and you don't worry about high schools or elementary schools, you are fooling yourself as a parent. Your kid is going to get this truly sick notion. White privilege. To tell people you are victims, you are all victims, everyone who isn't white is a victim. Aside from being a lie, it is so destructive. Mornings 10 till noon, here on 1030 KVOI, Tucson's intelligent voice.
Welcome back to your Dose of Reality. I'm Dr. Tim Dosemagen. It is good to have everybody here this fine Saturday afternoon. We just heard from Keith down at Keith Joshua Vineyards. He is on the road, kind enough to let us speak with him. And our next guest happens to be the football coach of the Warren Grove High School team. They have a very good Division III record going so far this year. I want to welcome into the studio and say hello and good morning to Mr. Corey Noble. Corey, good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
It is going extremely well. I want to just ask you, from the start here, what's the record so far this year that you guys have put together?
Well, this last year we had our best record in the school's history. We went 7-3. We finished the season at number 10 in the state. It was a very successful run. We made it to the playoffs and got knocked out on the first round, but it was a great experience for the boys and a great start to my tenure there.
And that was your first year?
Yes, sir.
So this is year number 2.
Yeah, this is year number 2, and last year was pretty crazy. I took over about 2 weeks before the season started, so it was kind of all hands on deck and jump in right from the very beginning. So it's definitely exciting to have some time to prepare for the second season.
What's the record so far?
Right now we're just in the middle of our off-season workouts and everything like that, so we haven't had any competitions yet. We'll start up here at the end of the month of May and into June, going into competing in our 7-on-7 and, spring ball type stuff.
So you guys are out there. Is it full pads?
No. We're not allowed to go pads until the end of July when the actual regular season starts. So we, can do pretty much everything, just no contact, and we can't have helmets and shoulder pads on.
What is that like in July in South Arizona going practice?
It's definitely a challenge that, people that haven't played or coached, in Southern Arizona, in some of these areas like this, it's definitely something that is foreign to people, and we got to be very aware of with the, massive heat. We account for it. We try to go early in the mornings or we go in the evenings, once it's hopefully cooled off a little bit to try and take advantage of, being able to do that a little more when it's not, over 110.
Do any of the players ever complain?
Oh, yeah. It's nobody's, idea of fun to be out there and running around and, even for the coaches, going out there and being in that heat, there's no way around it, dry heat or not. It's too hot.
We're going to talk about some of your ongoing fundraisers, and that's an important thing for us to talk about today. But before we go there, I just want to ask you, where do you get as far as the most satisfaction out of coaching at the high school level?
It's definitely something that I've been a part of for a while now, and being able to work with the young men. And help them become quality young men. We try to say we're not just building football players. We're not a football team. We're a football program, and we're not just building players. We're building young men, and we're trying to develop skills and things like that for them to be successful in life, and as they go forward as men, and with their families and in their education and their chosen career, not just on the football field.
Does Walden Grove still have the younger brother, older brother thing going on with the more established, shall we say, Sahuarita High School?
It's definitely one of those things that's, it's definitely a challenge. I feel like we're definitely growing out of that role. We're in different divisions than they are. We're a bigger school now, so we're playing up in a bigger division than they are and everything. So there's not that direct, same division, same region type of stuff. We're looking to compete as much as possible with them. Obviously, there's always that great rivalry, that we're hoping to instill, between the two schools. I understand as well as anyone, I'm a former alumni from there, from Sarita itself. So I definitely appreciate the competition between the two and everything. But, we definitely, I don't think of us as being the little brother in there anymore. We were very successful this last season, and getting to the playoffs and having a number of players make it to the next level and, that type of stuff. So we're striking our own path and trying to raise the bar from what we've done before.
And I was going to say, you're absolutely right, because both high schools are knocking on the door of 1,500, 2,000 students. And this is in Sarita, where in 1997, there barely was, 400 houses. Today, it's a city of 30,000 people. It's an incredible story. Back to the team. And again, we're talking to Corey Noble, head coach of the Walden Grove High School football team. Corey, you're in the stage of development right now in the season where you're looking at talent, you're evaluating, you're getting people to sign up. Is that a recruitment effort, or do you have kind of a spindle top down there where you've got an advantage in being able to be selective because so many of the young men want to play?
It's definitely something that football is becoming more popular. At our school, people want to be a part of things that are successful, and we're trying to create enthusiasm and excitement. As it's building itself, we're trying to make sure that we manufacture that as well, and we're trying to get as many guys as possible. It's getting better and better. We're definitely, I want as many guys as possible. Our numbers aren't, they're doing great, but I'm not satisfied. I want to get more guys out there because the bigger pool of talent we have, the better. And it's something that I think every young man can benefit from. I was a football player myself, and it did great things for me. So I want to, I know those things that it can carry forward and the effect that it can have in a positive manner and everything. So I'm definitely trying to recruit that within our school as much as possible.
For those who are listening, Corey looks like a football player, and I think everybody else in the studio would attest to that fact. I'm just going to cop to you. The last time I played competitive football was 10th grade. We won a city championship amongst 10 junior highs in a little town between Chicago and Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. But, dude, I was wrestling I was 5'10", 124, and the coach said to me, he got me in the last game, which was we were already done, and he says, don't get hit too hard. Yeah, that's when I realized I was at the end of the football career for me. But, back to the team. What is the average lineman at the high school level? I know the pros, you're probably talking 6'3" to 6'5", 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. How about the high school level?
Oh, we certainly don't have any of those kids at Walden Grove. We're not a school that, traditionally we've never had the biggest kids. Some of the schools we play this past year in the playoffs and, some of the big schools in town, they'll have guys, well over 6 foot, averaging 250, 275 on the line. And those kids are monsters in high school. Our average about 5'10", 5'11", 215, 220. But, we get them coached up and they're strong. So we're firing off the ball.
I think I saw a couple of those guys at Triple Play. Joe Riemann would attest to that if he's listening in. These are big guys. These are the kind of guys where if you're shooting pool down there at Triple Play or wherever you run into them, you give them deference. If they want to shoot first, you let them go ahead and break. Hey, real quickly, Corey, you've got some fundraisers that are going on, and those are essential to team operations. Do you mind telling us a little bit about some of the good things that you're doing down there to keep the team running?
No, absolutely. It's definitely one of those things. Nobody loves to do fundraising, but it's one of the things that, it costs a lot of money to run a football program, as well as it does for anything. And, we're definitely trying to make the most of that. This next upcoming Saturday down there in Sarita at the Carl's Jr., off of Duval Mine Road in front of the Walmart, we're having a car wash from 8 to 12. And our big fundraiser that we got coming up next is at the end of the month of May, on Sunday, May 20th, we're having a golf tournament.
How do I get involved in that?
Well, we have on Facebook, our football team as well as our booster club is on Facebook at Walden Grove Football and Wolfpack Football Booster Club on Facebook. And if you reach out, if you go to those sites and like them, we've got all the information for all the golf tournament and how to register and sign up. We're looking for advertising and sponsors for it as well, for hole and tee sponsors and others, and as well as golfers, and all the information's on there for it.
Nice. Anything else happening down there, or any shout-outs that you'd like to particularly give at this time?
Oh, we're just right now we're in the middle of the grind and getting in the weight room. The boys are in there and they're doing a great job and getting stronger and stronger every day. And we're working. We're making a push towards that. We'll start spring ball here coming up and then jump right into the summer. Everything, so it's a big time.
We're down to a minute and a half with Corey Noble, head coach of the Walden Grove High School football team. I want to ask you, when did you first pick up a football and who got you involved in the game?
I was always a bigger guy, so I always had people trying to get me to play, and I ended up playing in middle school, and started playing football then, and immediately I liked it. And my uncle was a high school football coach, so he had a strong influence in getting me out there to play, and I played there and played all the way through high school, and then played a little bit in college, and before finishing my degree and coming back to it, and coaching, which is the thing that I love to do the most and allows me to stay in the game and, enjoy all the things that I appreciate most out of the game itself.
Do you ever want to run out there on the field and grab the ball yourself?
My running out on the field and grabbing the ball myself days are over. I don't think my knees would have it anymore, but it's definitely, it's fun to be a part of it and be out there and, you still get that fire and, get a little fired up about it every now and again, but it's, it's my job's definitely on the sideline now.
And not only on the sideline, but also inspiring young men. I saw you out there a couple of weeks ago out on the parking lot at a car wash, and I want to take my hat off to you and salute you for all that you do. Thanks for being a pillar of the community and for being a leader of the local football team.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Thanks for coming into the studio, too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We've been chatting